Live from your home of hot baby tech, you're listening to Techies Talking Tech Tonight, locally known as T4. I'm your host, Trey Comstock, and it is Wednesday.
It is not Tuesday.
May 20th, 2015, and I'm joined as ever by Executive Editor, Jimmy Principe.
I am not a hot baby.
As we talked about baby tech last week, and we'll probably be talking about more baby tech in the future when the baby arrives. And then I will be having lots of be on a baby tech journey. You got baby monitoring tech, which I'm all over, and you've got baby entertainment tech, and other things as well. If this could possibly transition into me crash testing car seats on video, I mean, really.
I'm in favor of that.
Really, that's the goal, right? That this can mean I can get a bunch of old Impalas, string them onto wires, slam them into a brick wall, and stick monitors to a car seat. Like Mythbusters or something.
Good plan.
Right. Yep. Fantastic.
This in no way is an underpants gnome plan.
Look, dude, all you need is a bunch of Impalas, some cable, a car to pull the Impalas, right? So you hook the cable to a pulley. That car drives in one direction. The Impalas go in the other direction towards the wall you wish them to hit. Then they hit the wall. It's simple. How hard can it be?
That's what they all say, right up until they put the Impala through the wall.
Look, as long as
the wrong wall.
The goal is for the Impala to hit the wall. What wall and how it hits it, not immaterial, but less important. Then
I'm sure there's an ASTM standard for this.
Yeah, I'm sure there is. Yes, abso-freaking-lutely. So Jimmy, what do you got?
So I actually have two things. My first thing is, so I spent time this weekend at my brother's graduation in Charlottesville, Virginia, University of Virginia, one of the storied institutions of the country.
Founded by Thomas Jefferson.
Founded by Thomas Jefferson, and they invoke his name quite often.
Which is hilarious because he didn't go there.
Yeah, he only designed
Gave books to the library.
He gave books to the library and designed the central part of the campus.
He wrote their honor code?
Yeah.
Maybe? Or he wrote
probably.
Our honor code. He went to my university.
UVA did not exist before Thomas Jefferson. Because he founded it. Anyways, and so of course, as all graduations are, it was a time for everyone to show off their best and brightest camera tech. And what I really realized is that people are stupid.
Well, yeah.
And not really.
DSLRs are cheap.
And DSLRs should come with so all cheap DSLRs should be sold with a intro to cameras class. Because you know what? If you sold them with an intro to cameras class, people would buy better lenses. I've never seen so many stock lenses in my entire life. So many kit lenses.
Dude,
the 18 to 55 is a crap lens, and nobody should use it.
Look, I have portfolio shots taken with crap lenses.
Yes.
If you have an eye, the lens matters, but is secondary. How you set up your shot, as long as you understand the limitations of having always kind of had crap gear, right? My whole life, I've had gear I've had cheap gear. You can do a lot with cheap gear if you are actually pushing it to its limits and understand what it can do. And
I have great pictures from point and shoots. It's not.
I have stuff in my portfolio from point and shoots.
And I have great shots. Some of my favorite shots are actually off my cell phone. One of my favorite shots in Spain came off the Nexus 5.
Yeah. Better than the Moto Hey.
Moto Hey, not good for pictures. But my personal favorite was all of the all of the I'll use this as an example. All of the holding the camera above your head like this and trying to take pictures. Because I had the 70 to 300 on my camera.
It's a good lens.
Trying to take my long distance shots. And every so often there would just be really pale color in the middle of my shot, And so I had my left eye open, so I kind of turned the camera a little bit. I'd be like, "Are you freaking kidding me?" The person like 3 rows in front of me has her arms up like this and wildly trying to take pictures, and oh my god,
It's
it was
ruining
so
concerts
bad.
too. I'm told. I don't. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was probably ruining concerts, but it was just really bad was the main thing for that. And then like the stereotypical people with cameras going to like where they're not supposed to be because they feel like they're special.
They're not. You're not.
They're not
When in
special.
doubt, you're not special.
There were there was one guy whose picture I took. He asked me to take his picture, as happens when I carry the 7D. And he goes, "Here, can you take my picture?" And I looked at it. My picture with me and my significant other of some sort who was graduating. And I look at the camera, and it's a Nikon with a Nikon stock lens on it, and 2 filters strapped to the front of it.
What? What does he think they're both going to do
No.
to get?
A polarizing filter. What? We were inside a polarizing filter.
Yeah.
And unless he was looking for some awesome slow-mo of him, I don't think that was really useful. And a UV filter strapped to the front of the polarizing filter.
But wouldn't that have so much filter that those filters generally, as I understand it, aren't designed to work in tandem?
No, they're not designed to work in tandem. You're correct.
And also any filter decreases the amount of light that gets through to
because
your
you're
film
increasing
sensor.
You're increasing the distance on the front of the camera. So you're reducing the amount of ambient light that can come into the lens.
Which is what, by the way, lenses do.
Also, polarizing filter, you're knocking at least 2 stops off your lens to start with. The only arguments I can see for polarizing filters are if you're taking pictures outside where there's a lot of like green, because it'll really make or like you have clouds, because it'll add dynamic stuff to the clouds, and then it'll make the green really pop.
So there's certain on the Masai Mara.
Yeah. So there's certain things that I have a polarizing filter, and I really like it. It's for my 17-40, but I use it sparingly because it doesn't have that many applications beyond very specific things. Mm-hmm. It's great for anything though, like landscape shots. It's an excellent for landscape shots, but not for people shots.
And not indoors.
Not indoors. So that was interesting. And then the other thing is the UV filter. And dear internet, you don't need UV filters.
Not anymore.
The douche bro at Best Buy that sold it to you as it's like a lens cap that you don't have to take off your lens was really just coming up with an excuse for you to buy an extra thing. You know what comes with your lens? A lens cap. Right. You know what happens when you lose it? You buy another $5 lens cap.
They're not expensive. I lose a lot of lens caps.
They're super cheap. And you don't have a subpar piece of glass in front of your lens. Because guess what? If you're buying a cheap UV filter, that's exactly what you're doing.
Yeah.
But, I mean, at the risk of doing a history lesson, I mean, UV filters existed for a reason once upon a time. They were specifically to remove UV light from whatever was entering your lens, so you didn't get that blue tint on film whenever you took pictures, because the film would still expose the UV light even though you didn't see it. So ultraviolet, it is greater. That's why it's blue.
Right. Yes.
Think about this. It makes physics. It makes sense. Just because of the sensitivity of the emulsion that's in the film, it would turn blue. So you needed a UV filter if you're going to take anything where like the sun was involved, because it would totally screw up your film. I did not use film that heavily, but I know you did.
Oh yeah.
And there was no such thing as auto white balance.
No.
white balance was I hope I have the right film,
Yes, and I hope
and I hope I have used the right filters to make the film work, and I have.
and I've set it to the right stop, and have the right shutter speed. Especially just became so in it's shutter speed for it's not like a dynamic ISO, right? You had the one.
Well, that's why like one of my friends who got into film photography hardcore, he bought 3200 ISO black and
Oh
white film.
God,
And
so fast.
oh yeah, I mean he spent some real money on it, but and when he got it printed, it had a really interesting. It was Ilford.
Sure. Yeah,
It was
that's all right.
Ilford. Well, because I don't think Kodak makes anything that fast anymore.
They used to
I
make
think that they only make up to
1600.
1600. Yeah. Well, they may have made 3200 at some point, but Ilford is the only one that I'm aware of now that's making 3200 in black and white. And so, but yeah, it has a really interesting like kind of grain structure, and but that is some fast film, man.
So when I was when I was 19, I still didn't have a DSLR yet. I didn't get my DSLR until the fall of 2005. That's when I got my first DSLR. So I did a trip to Italy the summer after my senior year of high school in '05, and I had a Canon Rebel 2000 was my film SLR, and I didn't have a nice lens for it, but at that point, I was into photography, but I had kind of stepped away from it a little bit to focus on other things. And on this trip to Italy, I took 800 speed film. Now you see, you got to realize, when I was a child, I lived in Northern Europe, very cloudy, very dark, and so
You couldn't get a shutter speed fast enough, could you?
Well, no. So growing up, 800 speed film was when I was a kid. 800 speed film was fine, but I didn't have an SLR. I had just point and shoots, and I was shooting in bloody Northern Europe, where it's dark and brooding. The reason why their art looks like that's just what it looks like. Okay, and so
That's reality.
all of my pictures from Italy, every single one, is grained out. Every single picture is grained out as if I meant to do it. And at that point, I didn't know enough of what I was doing, or I was just new. But I took I took that camera to a photography store. It's like, what's broken? It did this. It's like, what's the film you use? 800. It's like, right. Okay, right. Because, yeah. And the thing is that's all I had. And so I didn't have a sensor on the camera that could tell you, hey, maybe 100 would have worked better for you. Instead, it was, because Kodak did a bad job of advertising it. They advertised it as multi-purpose for all uses.
Yeah, no, 800, 400 and 800 were both of the films that they advertised as kind of the use it for whatever.
And 400 and
400 is a great film speed.
And I think some of it's also the difference between the light letting and capacity of a point and shoot, which is what I was using when I was young, and an SLR. Right? So 800 in a point and shoot is fine because those little lenses let in so little light that you're fine. You move that to an SLR, you're living in a very different world in terms of just the amount of light that's hitting that film.
Oh yeah.
And I think that's the real problem I ran into. It's like, oh, it's multi-purpose film. I knew what I was doing, right? I've shot a lot of film.
Well, and there is something to be said for, I know a lot of college courses that I've heard of people taking for photography, they require you to use a film camera.
Yeah.
They require you to use a film SLR, mainly because you can get them for so cheap.
Yep. You can get an 81 for nothing. I have one sitting in a closet.
Yeah, their whole thing is we want you to use, you can buy some of the best SLRs from anywhere from 10 to 40 years ago for almost no money.
Yeah, that's true.
Less than $100 with a lens. And
Yeah, the whole
Then
T series lenses are just yeah.
And so then the idea is that you're using this camera and you have to actually learn how to operate the machinery and understand where ISO comes from and where things like that come from. And so in a lot of ways, I think that that's a valuable way to learn photography from a class perspective. But then there's also the DSLRs are super cheap now, right?
Ish, yeah.
You can buy, they still sell like the T3i for not a lot of money, for something around like $400. You can get a T3i with a lens. And I'm not sure that is really the problem. Is that they've become so cheap that people are just like, well, why would I buy a mirrorless? Because I can buy a DSLR and that's better, right? And
in some applications.
And I think that the problem is that the message has gotten confused by professional photographers because people look at those professional photographers and go, oh, wow, if I have a camera like their camera
shaped like that,
then I can do that thing. You can get the same level of photo quality or slightly better, even possibly out of a mirrorless in a smaller package.
Yes.
Smaller package.
But you can't carry the lenses.
But you can't move the lens. And that's really the problem right now is the lens interoperability. Olympus, Panasonic, and somebody else, all their lenses work together.
Yeah, but even still, like, it's...
And so they have a great lens. They have a great lens library, and then Sony is just doing their own thing, but they also have a great lens library. So if you bought into either of those two ecosystems of lenses at this point, I think that you're pretty safe because there's so much stock out there.
Yeah.
But I keep trying to fight this battle with people saying, no. What you really want is a mirrorless camera. Like you don't want to lug something heavy around. You'll buy this thing and then you'll never use it because it's like. It's a pain. So what I've started doing whenever I talk about my DSLR is how much of a pain in the butt it is to lug it around.
It is that. Yes.
Like, and I mean, and like handing it to people saying like, see how heavy this is? And then they go, oh, wow.
Well, and that's somewhat unfair because the one they're going to buy isn't going to be that heavy. The 7D is particularly heavy.
Yeah.
It's useful for what I use it for, but... it's also a drawback. If
you have aspirations of being a a prosumer level, if you look at the 70D or even the 7D Mark II and say, or even the 5D Mark III and say that's a thing I want in the future. I want to work up to having that and being able to do that. Then buy the cheap body and put good lenses and then upgrade to a newer body later. But
that's actually exactly what I did. So when
most people don't do that though.
So when I got my first DSLR, I mean, it was fairly early in DSLRs. I got Canon Rebel XT, which was their consumer.
Which is still a good, I mean, you can still buy that camera used for not much money, and that's not a bad cheap.
It was nice.
Cheap body. You can get them for like $50 or something.
And the photo quality was really good. I did some really good work with it. But that's where I bought my 28-135. That's when I bought my 7300 was for that camera. And then, I felt like, okay, I was going to Kenya and at that point
you needed something a little better.
And at that point that camera I had it for I'd had it for 7 years.
Oh, wow.
So, it made it 7 years. It was
two camera generations.
Yeah, 2 camera generations. And so it was like, hey, DSLRs have come a long way from 2005 to 2012. It's time to upgrade. So that's when I moved to the 7D. And so that exact path that you laid out worked great for me. And so the professional work I'm able to do now, because I have this whole ecosystem of stuff, these 2 lenses and my 2 main lenses and this camera body that I bought at different stages, but it all kind of converged together in a great way. So if you are like a budding videographer, a budding professional photographer, or think that's something for you, then cheap DSLRs are phenomenal because they use all the same lenses.
But if you just want something to take on your vacation,
a mirrorless is going to be easier.
A mirrorless is going to be easier, and you'll probably use it more.
And the picture, and if you get the right mirrorless, for instance, don't get the Samsung.
Get the Sony A6000 or which is finally dropped. It was a high level, high end, but it's an APS-C sensor. It's the same one that's in most of the DSLRs. Is, I mean, not quite 35 millimeter, but almost.
But I mean, again, you're not going to pay consumer money for something that's a 35 millimeter sensor either. I mean, that's 5D territory.
Yeah, that's the Sony has one. Sony has it's the A7, I think.
Yeah, but how much is that thing?
All of the money.
All of the money.
They have a fixed lens one. That's like $1,800.
That's for a fixed.
And then they have
a lot of money for a fixed lens.
I think that's what it is. I don't remember, but it's a lot of money. No, I'm not going to lie to you and say it's not a lot of money. The comparison that they had to use was comparing it to a Leica.
Sure, yeah,
and
that's always a safe bet.
Well, and actually, I've seen some photo shoots comparing the two, and they're fairly comparable photo quality wise, and features wise. Samsung wins or Sony wins out, but yeah, I think that the you pulling the Leica out. I think features wise, you can get like an Olympus pen, the EM series, or upgrade a little bit higher. I mean, as long as you stay in the Panasonic, Olympus, or yeah. So the Fujifilm X100S looks almost exactly like that.
I mean, on purpose, yes. This is not a digital camera.
It looks like the Fuji from that time.
Yeah.
But no, I think it's the Sony A7.
This is my Leica M3.
The Leica M3. Yeah, so the mirrorless is $1,700, which has the full size sensor.
That's a lot.
It does not say
I guess for a
that.
full size sensor, that's not terrible.
Yeah, no, that has a full size sensor. Where is the A7? Yeah, okay. I don't see the I don't remember what that one is then. But yeah, they make one that's a 35 millimeter, and that's what the Fuji X100 or X100S is, which is that's a great camera.
It's great looking too.
I mean, it's a good looking camera. That's a great camera. It's not a new camera at this point. It's almost 2 or 3 years old, but but anyways, so what's your thing, Trey?
So
I've rambled on about cameras for like 20 minutes.
22. So I had an interesting experience in how our expectations of things shift. It used to be
based on technology.
Based on technology. So shipping, Amazon and shipping, they've done terrible things to anyone else who ships products. I'll put it that way. So we bought, as you saw in the last show, we acquired a Dropcam Pro by Nest by Google.
In only the best naming.
But it's not actually that. It's like Dropcam, a Nest company, although they're a Google company. So I'm just going to call it the Dropcam by Nest by Google. And it said we paid for 2-day shipping. And so you think that means, because we're all used to Amazon at this point, when Amazon says you've paid for 2-day shipping, that means, guess what? It arrives 2 days later, right? 2-day shipping means it arrives.
No. I don't pay for 2-day shipping. They just give it to me.
Right.
Out of my $99 a year, I pay them.
It arrived like a week later.
Wow.
Like straight up a week later. Yeah, it was ordered on a Friday, and I think I took delivery on a Friday. There was a 48-hour processing period. Not even, it wasn't shipping. It was just, the shipping was processing. And so we called them on the phone, and it was like, what are you doing? Like, where is this thing? You said 2-day shipping. Oh, this 2-day processing time. It's standard in the industry. I wanted to go, what industry are you in? The standard in this industry, that is online shopping, is Amazon.com.
It is.
When you order something from Amazon.com, like I ordered a box of Palomino Blackwing 602 pencils. Why? Because I had a gift card and I like fancy office supplies. And these are the pencils that drew most of the early Warner Brothers stuff, and that's pretty cool. Anyways, I ordered them on Monday. I ordered them like late Sunday night. They showed up today, 2 business days later. You figure the thing left on Monday and then Tuesday, and now it's Wednesday. Great.
Yep.
Same thing with the microphone that I ordered. After I walked out of my meeting on Monday, it's going to arrive probably tomorrow, although Amazon's telling me it's already been delivered. So work on that, Amazon.
Amazon at this point has decided that I one of the CDs I ordered didn't ever arrive, and so they processed a return and gave me the money, and I couldn't figure out on their site how to tell them no, I got that thing.
I received it. Thank you.
Thank you for the return, but I don't know.
What was it, Taylor Swift? Were they saying you didn't really need it anyways?
No.
What album do they not think you need?
Mumford and Sons.
That's a good album. I've listened to it. That's a solid album.
Actually, I like that album.
Yeah, I actually like most of their stuff. Anyways. So I thought it was interesting that my expectation has changed. It used to be kind of get it in a week. That's not that big a deal. But when I pay for 2 days shipping, and then it takes a week, Amazon's got me pretty well trained. I also looked. We wanted to buy it straight from Nest, right?
Right.
If I bought it on Amazon, which it was available, I could have had it 2 days later, which is what I should have done. It's one of those, why am I, unless it's a product you just straight up can't get on Amazon, like a lot of Apple stuff, just order it from Amazon. And Apple shipping, I think, except for my iWatch, which still hasn't arrived yet, by the way, is usually pretty good.
Yeah. I think that the problem with shipping is that these retailers have still been doing it, and they finally just went, well, we'll just offer free shipping on like everything, and that's good enough, right?
That it's free. It's good enough that it's free.
Yeah, because like I just bought something off of MicrosoftStore.com, the new TV tuner thing that we'll talk about in the show this week, most likely. Yeah, I don't know. It might not make the cut. That's not that big of a story.
It's only Wednesday. We'll see what happens.
But yeah, so it's this little TV tuner so that you can hook an antenna up to your Xbox One and have some of the guide functionality like you have with a cable box, plus 30 minutes of like rewind capability, which is that's nice. And it was sold out on Amazon, and they said we'll send it to you like whenever,
like someday.
Eventually you'll get it, which I've had issues with Amazon on that before when they're like, hey, we're sold out and we'll never, ever, ever get it back in stock. That was the way the Nexus 9's cover was. So I ended up was like, screw this. I just bought it from Google, and I paid the shipping, and I think I ended up paying shipping because on Google's site they didn't pay for shipping.
Well, they didn't give you free shipping. Nest is, Dropcam by Nest by Google.
Google did finally decide that, hey, if we want people to actually buy gadgets off our store, we need to like offer free shipping. But yeah, it was like 5 to 7 days was my free shipping. And so, I don't know, maybe it'll show up in 7 days, maybe not. But if it had been available on Amazon, I would have just bought it on Amazon, not directly from Microsoft. Just like with Best Buy, I often go to Best Buy and I go, well, I can't pick it up in store, so I'm going to go to Amazon and just buy it from Amazon. And they store my payment information.
Well, sure. But a lot of places store my payment information.
Although I did really appreciate when I checked out from the Microsoft store that when I hit checkout, it told me to confirm my shipping address, and then it informed me what my billing information was. Like it skipped the billing information entirely because like Amazon, it says, hey, is this if you don't have one click turned on, it just says, hey, is this your billing information? You have to read through it and you go, yep, that's the one I want to use. Yep, we're good. No, Microsoft is just like, we're going to take you to the order confirmation screen with the billing information filled in, and you can change it if you want to.
So, on some level, I'm sympathetic because shipping's hard, right?
Oh, yeah.
And Amazon does it in such volume that it's unfair for anybody else. No one's shipping like Amazon shipping. But at the same time, they've established a standard of what people expect. And so, and Amazon, the big secret is for most purchases I make and you make on Amazon, they probably lose money. Right?
On the shipping, especially.
On the shipping. How is it possibly economical to give me free 2-day shipping on a box of pencils and a pencil sharpener? How? There's no way, right? They have to have lost money. It's a $25 gift card plus $9. They're expensive pencils. It's a $20 box of pencils.
Well, and they're usually not the most expensive person out there.
In terms of products, no. I mean, they're deliberately the cheapest.
Right. And so they're not making it back up on the products themselves.
I mean, they think, as I understand it, if you read the Everything Store, if you want a kind of a better window, and it's been about a year since I read that book. It's been a while since I read that book. But you get the sense that they think that they're making it up in volume, and they're making it up with you in their ecosystem. So maybe they don't make a lot of money on me buying pencils.
Yeah, but they make money on me renting movies from them.
Or the time I bought a television from Amazon, right? So then I think they made money.
Yeah, so they'll either break even or lose a little bit on having everything. Because think about it. My dad explained this to me when I was in college about 24-hour restaurants. So for most restaurants, when you decide to go 24/7, the only reason you're doing that, especially in a college town, is then no one ever has to think about whether or not you're open. That was my dad's explanation of it.
Sure.
And I was like, that's right, because it was Kirby Lane in Austin, and
it's a great restaurant.
It was a great restaurant, and they're always open. So you're never like, is it open? You're always like, is it packed?
Right. And usually the answer to both of those questions is yes.
As opposed to the Wendy's in my dorm, which you had to think about when it was open because it was closed for 3 hours a day. Yeah, the answer to that was it was also always packed.
I also lived in Chester. That was bad. That was a really good place to put a Wendy's because a lot of late nights in Chester and a lot of late nights at the Wendy's in Chester.
It was so good though.
No, it wasn't.
I've just blocked out that part of my memory.
It wasn't good. It was Wendy's at 2:00 in the morning. It's just, yeah.
Yeah, they close at 4 a.m. But so I think that Amazon and Walmart have taken that same strategy to bring up our conversation from last week's show. Amazon has taken that same strategy with we just want you to be able to come to Amazon and never ask whether or not we have it. We want you to type something in and just say, and I will buy it.
Right.
Because then they always have like add-on. So like, for example, whenever you buy anything, they always have add-on items at the bottom.
That's why I bought the pencil sharpener.
See?
So I bought the Palomino Blackwing 602, and then I bought, where is it? And I bought the proper Palomino Blackwing pencil sharpener to go with it.
Wow. You should have gotten the straighter. What is the one with the little like Trojan dude on it, for lack of a better name?
I know what you're talking about.
The German pencils.
Yeah, straighter.
So I think they're straighter is what it's called. But yeah, those are some good drafting pencils too, for the record.
Well, this isn't. Yes.
I know. Those, when you don't have a $25 gift card to burn and you're looking for new pencils, those are the ones.
Sure.
They're nice.
Palomino Blackwing 602s. Anyways, our expectations have shifted, and Amazon. I think theoretically you're right. Amazon thinks they're the place that are just going to have the everything store, right? But there's still. Amazon does not understand how obscure a thing I want to buy. For instance, if you're trying to find the box set of the Persona 4 anime collection, maybe Amazon has it, and maybe they don't. Now, if anyone's going to have it, Amazon has it. Or if you want, say, all of the discs from the 1990s anime Gundam Wing, not necessarily going to find it. I guess what I'm saying is, if you are looking for super obscure anime, they may not have it.
You may have to go to Xbox or not Xbox, Amazon Japan.
Right. This is kind of, I'm using this example, A, because I run into it, B, because it's kind of funny, but that means it's not the everything store. Their whole theory is that long tail, right? The things that no one's ever going to buy until they do, and then it's going to be at Amazon. And so they stock one of them because they know at some point I'm going to buy the entire collection of Persona 4 anime DVDs.
Well, and the other thing that they're helped by is the fact that people will list their own stuff on Amazon.
Sure.
And so Amazon has this whole system set up. So like I sell textbooks on Amazon, and the way I do it, because I don't want to have to deal with it, is I set my price at whatever like everyone else's price is. And then I check the box that says I will let Amazon ship it for me. Because you know what that means? The second that I ship it to Amazon, it becomes Prime eligible.
Right.
So all of a sudden, my thing that's the same price as everyone else's thing is Prime eligible, and someone will buy that instead. Because that, for me, is always a deciding factor. If I can get it with Prime instead of paying shipping.
Yeah,
and then it's out of my hands, and eventually money will just show up in my account. So it won't stress me out about what the price is.
And the mic I just bought for a new mobile rig we're working on, I bought it from K&M something, but it was Prime eligible, so I didn't care.
Right, Prime eligible means that that Amazon has it in their warehouse.
Right. And now where is it? Because they told me it's delivered. Anyways, this is a rabbit hole. If you have comments also about shipping or cameras, if you are the person still using two filters at the same time, write in podcast@textlastcall.com.
We have opinions for you.
Yeah, we have opinions. Facebook.com/textlastcall, Pinterest.com/textlastcall, or at textlastcall on the Twitters. Good night. Don't use UV filters.
Don't use UV filters.